Good afternoon and welcome to Pakistan Today News from our New York studio. I'm Chris Taylor. Iran's new supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, has delivered his first public statement since being named leader by Iran's Assembly of Experts following the death of his father, former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Speaking on state television on March 12th, Mujtaba Khamenei stressed that Iran would continue resisting external pressure and would not surrender to what he described as foreign aggression. He also said Tehran would continue using the potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz as leverage against its enemies. Khamenei called on neighboring countries in the region to adopt friendlier policies toward Iran, while warning that Tehran may seek compensation from the United States and Israel for damages caused during recent conflict. Despite earlier reports suggesting he had been wounded, details about his condition remain unclear. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has sharply criticized Iran's new leader, describing Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei as a puppet of the Revolutionary Guards. Netanyahu said the Iranian leader's failure to appear publicly raises questions about his authority. The Israeli Prime Minister added that while Israel could create the conditions for regime change in Iran, the ultimate decision lies with the Iranian people themselves. Netanyahu also said Israel is determined to prevent Iran from relocating its nuclear and ballistic missile projects underground. Commenting on recent U.S.-Israeli attacks, he claimed Iran's elite forces have suffered significant blows and warned that Hezbollah would pay a heavy price for what he called continued aggression. Netanyahu also revealed that he maintains near-daily communication with U.S. President Donald Trump. Iran's foreign ministry has also responded strongly to international developments, condemning a recent United Nations Security Council resolution on Iran as utterly unlawful. Spokesperson Esmail Baqai accused the resolution of distorting international law and ignoring what Tehran describes as its right to defend itself against unprovoked aggression from the United States and Israel. Baqai said Iran has no intention of violating the sovereignty of neighboring countries and insists it has exercised maximum restraint during the ongoing tensions. He also warned that no country should assist what he called the illegal U.S.-Israeli war against Iran. In the United States, criticism is also emerging from within Washington. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy has accused the Trump administration of repeatedly misunderstanding the limits of American military power in the Middle East. Murphy described the repeated miscalculations as unforgivable, arguing that the United States continues to make the same strategic mistakes again and again. He warned that such decisions risk further destabilizing an already volatile region and could deepen long-term conflict across the Middle East. For more on the reaction in the United States, we go now to our correspondent Eric Westwood in New York City.
Political debate in Washington is intensifying as the conflict with Iran escalates. Senator Chris Murphy's remarks reflect growing concern among some lawmakers that military strategy in the Middle East lacks clear limits or long-term planning. Critics argue that repeated interventions have historically produced unintended consequences and prolonged instability. Supporters of the administration, however, say strong action is necessary to counter Iran's regional influence. The debate is expected to intensify in Congress as the situation develops.
Eric Westwood reporting from New York. Thank you. Turning now to developments in the Gulf region. Bloomberg has allowed its Gulf-based employees, including staff at its Dubai headquarters, to temporarily work from outside the region amid repeated Iranian attacks on Gulf cities. A spokesperson for the company told Reuters that while most employees have chosen to remain, those who wish to relocate temporarily are permitted to do so. Bloomberg emphasized that its services for clients continue without interruption. Co-founder Michael Bloomberg also reaffirmed the company's commitment to the region, stating that supporting customers during this challenging period remains a priority. Diplomatic efforts are also underway to prevent further escalation. Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand held a phone conversation with Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani as regional tensions continue to rise. The Qatari premier condemned Iranian attacks on Qatar as unacceptable under any pretext, while highlighting Doha's efforts to remain neutral and facilitate dialogue between Iran and the international community. Anand urged all sides to pursue de-escalation through diplomacy and negotiations, stressing the importance of reasoned responses to avoid further chaos in the region. And finally, the United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has said there is absolutely not any price at which he would advise President Donald Trump that the war with Iran has become unaffordable. Speaking to Sky News, Bessent dismissed suggestions that financial or economic costs could force Washington to reconsider its involvement in the conflict. His remarks underline the administration's determination to sustain military and strategic pressure despite the rising costs associated with the ongoing confrontation. That's all for now. You're watching Pakistan Today News. I'm Chris Taylor.